What's up, YouTube? This is the yz426 big bore build 1. Alright, so we got the right crankcase cleaned. Now we're working on the left crankcase. We got our crank, our transmission, and we have a WR 5th gear up here. So this is for our 426 build that we're doing with the big bore. So it's going to be 445 cc's, which is basically, 450, Alright, so now I'm just sanding down the case for a smooth surface. That way, so when I put my gasket maker, it seals up both halves together nicely. Thank y'all so much for subscribing. We are almost at 50 subscribers, so if you ain't done so now, go ahead and subscribe and like this video. Now that we got our cases all sanded down, we're going to drop in our transmission, our shift forks, our shift drum, our crank. Alright, we got our transmission in. Now it's time to put in our shift drum and our shift forks. Alright, so I got the transmission lined up, and this time we have 5th gear for sure. Went ahead, got that shift drum. This is how my old one's looking. It's not too busted, but you can see it does have some severe heat wear. So we got this fresh used one. Drop this crank in, gotta pull the piston off, freeze it, I'll drop it in, lay the gasket, and then we'll set the cases. Alright, so I got the crank dropped in for the 426 big bore. We heated up the case bearings, and then we had to freeze the crank to drop it in. So now I'm finna lay down the gasket maker and set the cases together, and that'll be it for the bottom end. Alright, so I got my gasket maker laid all the way around the cases, and this is what I was using. So now I'm about to heat up the bearing and then slide the case on. Alright, so now that the cases are set, we're gonna work on the clutch side. Gonna start off with the idler gear. Just drop it on. Make sure you put your washer. Make sure you got a snap ring tool. Just apply it on there. And make sure you hear it clip in. And that's that. Alright, we're finna work on the framework. We already painted the frame. About to put the swing arm back on. Alright, we got the dog bone bolt in. Now we're going to put our washer and our nut on there. Alright, now we're finna work on our shock bolt. Alright, now we got that bad boy in. We're going to put our nut on. Got the airbox on. And we're also going to be using this Boyson power wing. And just slides in the air, changes up like the power curve just a little bit. But it's a good part to have when we are big boring this bad boy. So I'm finna put on the gas tank grommets real quick. And then we're gonna slap on the gas tank and seat and get our first little look at it. Alright, that's how she's looking now. Starting to look like an actual bike. These plastics, another fried. Got some new ones right over there. Aside from that, just gotta give it a little bath and continue to work. Gotta slap on probably the harness next. A couple little odd ends, chain rollers, stuff like that. But it's a little process, but I was gonna be watching it here right on YouTube. And if you follow me on TikTok, Lawrence Productions, same here as YouTube. Y'all will see all my daily content with the bikes. All my other bikes, 426 clips, stuff like that, TikTok crap. Besides from that, I'm gonna put on a couple of more parts. Alright, got that bad boy on. Now, I'm finna go ahead and put that swing arm bolt in so we can finish mounting the motor. Now we're finna put our swing arm washer and nut on. And I'll be using a 22mm socket. Alright, so now we're gonna work on the shift linkage. I pull this out, make sure your little pins don't come off. And now take this, find the keyway slot, you line it up the one on the shift drum. And what you're gonna want to do is use a screwdriver to hold this little wheel back. It helps the shift drum. I don't really know what it's called as of this moment, but we're just gonna wing it. Make sure it's all the way on. Tighten this down the best as you can by hand. All right, let that go. 13 millimeter, tighten that down. You want to kind of like put that socket on like halfway, unless you got 13 deep. Now that you got that tightened down, you want to go ahead and tighten up the little roller for the shift drum. Now we're going to install our transmission oil line runner. Just slide this all in. You're going to use an 8 millimeter to tighten it down. And we'll grab the little thingamajigger shift selector. I guess we can call that that. Put our pieces together. Now we're going to slide that in here. All right. Add this little collar. Now we got to put this little plate on. And this part is the tricky part. After you get your plate on, go ahead and put on your 2 10 millimeters. Now you can come in with your shift shaft. Go ahead and slide that through the cases. And that is your shift assembly. Now we're going to put on our oil pump now. 3/16 Allen. Oil pump gear on is driven by the clutch. The gear. A washer. And a snapper. Get your nut, lock washer, counterbalancer gear, crankshaft nut, crankshaft washer, crankshaft gear. Other side, put this bad boy in, and then we'll finish the rest. All right, got that in. Now we're gonna set our counterbalance timing with our other 2 gears. If you don't know, it's the little punch hole in the gear. That lines up to the smallest tooth on the crankshaft. Wow, that hurt. Small tooth on here. You match that up on here with this dot facing this one. Perfect timing. Now you put your lock washers and your lock nuts, and you're all good to go. If y'all like watching these videos, go ahead and subscribe, because this year we're going to put out a whole bunch of content. I got about 4, more like 3 YZ videos coming, just off the motor builds. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and torque those down. I'm going to use my method, which is pretty good. With the rag and that 3/8 and a foot-long extender bore. We'll put our socket on there. We're going to crank it down to 1 full tight turn. Turn the light on for y'all, but we're going to go ahead and tighten the counterbalance nut and probably call it a maybe call it a night or try to finish this clutch side up. Alright, that is it for part 1. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in part 2.